because we didn't understand what holiness actually is, and we can get into some of this later, because we didn't understand what sanctification actually really is, we came up with these moralistic definitions of things that are not even more foundationally about morals. They're foundationally about relationship, and the outworking of appropriate relationship is morality. And it has been that in my own life and in my own case. It's the duration. It's how long will this go on? And when you find yourself in that place, you have to be cautious that you don't move over into a measure of legalism that produces a thought process that says what's needed is more effort from me. What's needed is more striving on my end. What's needed is for me to bench press this a little bit more, for me to be a little bit stronger, for me to be, run a little faster, run a little harder. When that happens, we end up producing things. We produce things by way of law. The law produces things, sowing and reaping. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. There are things that lead to things, and you can become productive even if what you're producing is being produced out of legalism. So in a season where I was mired in a legalistic influence, I was still successful. The danger is then to say, how do you leave it when it seems to be working? And this is what happened with Abraham and Sarah, who tried to get strategic because they weren't comfortable with God's time frame. Abraham goes in, lays with Sarah's maid, the bondwoman, Hagar. She becomes pregnant, showing us that the ability to become pregnant wasn't an issue on Abraham's end. It was an issue on Sarah's end. The problem wasn't the husband, the problem was the bride. Hello? The problem wasn't the husband, the problem was the bride. The issue of not being able to reproduce is a consequence of those of us that are called into bridal identity refusing to come into bridal identity because we still carry some slavery mentality that when our husband wants to lie with us and ravish us and blow our minds with a measure of love that is indescribable, we recoil because there's something in us that still functions intellectually like a slave. So Hagar becomes pregnant, births a son. Again, I'm assuming you know nothing, but Hagar births a son. That son's name is Ishmael. Ishmael grows and is weaned. I believe he's somewhere between the ages of 14 and 16 by the time Sarah becomes pregnant with Isaac. Isaac is born. Isaac is being prepared to be weaned. As Isaac is being prepared to be pulled off of milk and placed onto meat.